feeling like very moody. It's just atmospheric, like the dark fall moody vibes like live in this book. Wow, that is delicious. Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea and I'm so happy that you're here today. We are going to kind of jumpstart into fall. I have been out of town for the last couple of weeks and missed like the start of fall because I was not here. So my house doesn't look like fall, it doesn't feel like fall. We gotta get it going though, because it's my favorite season and I feel like I'm missing out. So that's what we're gonna be doing in today's video. I need to do a few things to kind of get my heart and mind and body into the fall spirit. So I need to make a fall playlist. I kind of want to do some fall baking. I found a pumpkin snickerdoodle cookie recipe online that sounds so delicious, so I want to make that, and I feel like it'll make my house smell like fall, which will be really nice. And I am reading a fall book. Now I was reading If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I'll pop up the cover right here because this is giving total fall vibes. It is set in the fall of 1997. It's like Stars Hollow-esque, and it's got a black cat FMC and a golden retriever MMC. It's basically Gilmore Girls but like reversed. He's the single dad, she's running the inn, and it's just giving fall for me, but I am jet lagged and I finished it at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So we are not reading that in this vlog, but I did pick up Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This is actually a reread for me, but it is my book club pick of the month, and I have book club on Wednesday. That's in 2 days. So I need to get on this, so we'll be reading this in this vlog as well. If you don't know, this is about a small island off the coast of the Pacific Northwest called Sorsha. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's a little witchy. The women have powers, but like not like zipping out of their fingertips, you know, like they have spell books, they use like herbs and tea. It's giving like a little witchy. It's set in the fall time, and the island kind of is its own character in this book, which I love. I'm really glad that I get to reread this book. I'm also like annotating it. I started it this morning. So I'm just having a great time. So that's what we're gonna be doing in today's vlog. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on my playlist. I'm feeling like very moody. Like I titled the playlist already and put one song on, Champagne Problems by Taylor Swift, and I just realized I'm wearing my Champagne Problems shirt, so this is fitting. But that's kind of the vibe we're going for. I'm, you know, leaning into the seasonal depression a little bit, and that's okay. Sometimes we just like to be sad. So I like to be sad. And I've got my Vampire Diaries rewatch going on in the background as I make my playlist, which is just giving me fall vibes. So thanks for coming along in the next couple of days as I get myself in the fall mood. All right, the fall playlist has been created. We are leaning into that seasonal depression. I just wanted like moody, cozy vibes, and I feel like I delivered. So currently I have 55 songs on here. I'll keep adding throughout the month, but this feels like a really good start. And I don't know, I'm loving the coziness, the moodiness, the maybe a little tearful vibes we're getting here. I will add a link to this playlist in the description box down below in case you want to check it out. But I am excited to keep adding to this throughout the season. This is one of my new favorite songs, Speyside by Bon Iver. This came out a couple of weeks ago and I'm obsessed with it. I listen to it on repeat in the car. The album comes out really soon, maybe next week, so I might add a couple more of those songs to the playlist if they're the right vibe. So Really, really loving this so far. Next, I'm going to pop back into Spells for Forgetting. I'm almost halfway with this, and I will give you an update when I do get halfway, but so far I'm obsessed with just everything about this book. I feel like it's just as good the second time around as it was the first time, and just this cover is giving everything I want it to. It's giving a little Twilight, and now I kind of want to watch Twilight. Should we watch Twilight in this vlog? That might be a thing we need to do. So I'll give you an update when I hit about halfway. All right, I am now just over, a little bit more than just over halfway through Spells for Forgetting, and I want to do an update before I finish, because once I get into like the meat of this story, I know I'm not gonna put it down, so I want to give an update before I read the whole thing. As I said before, this book is set on an island off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, and our two main characters, Emery and August, are childhood loves, best friends, lovers, and 14 years ago, August leaves the island, doesn't turn back because he is essentially like, he's not accused of murdering their best friend, but he's like the main suspect, but they don't have any evidence. So he just is kind of ostracized on the island, and he ends up leaving with his mom and never coming back, and doesn't tell Emery. He just like disappears. So she's been mourning not only the loss of her best friend, but of August. And he comes back 14 years later because his mother has passed away and she is asked to be buried on the island. So he has to come back, deal with that, deal with their house, and just kind of like tie up some loose ends about his family before leaving everything for good. But he does end up, of course, running into Emery. Everyone in the town knows he's back, and they're pretty upset that he's back because it's kind of dredging up like all of these bad memories and things that have happened. Not only did their best friend die on their high school graduation, but there was also a massive fire on the island, which kind of turned away a lot of tourists and a lot of money from the island for several years. And they've kind of finally gotten back to like making money and the way things were before the fire happened, essentially. So him being on the island is dredging up a lot of feelings, a lot of memories, and you can kind of tell that there's something sinister happening on the island. You just don't know what. And I love that the magic in this book is not like a whimsical magic. It's a little ominous. It's a little suspicious, a little mysterious, not quite dark, but not wholesome either. And it just kind of, you can feel it on the island. It's like permeated throughout the island and kind of showing up in weird ways. Like all of the trees change color in one night, and the birds haven't flown south yet, so they're just kind of like sitting on the island, and you can just tell that like something is happening, and maybe the island itself is kind of bringing to light some of the darkness from the years past. And I kind of love that. And I'm at a spot where secrets are about to be revealed, and I'm very excited because I don't remember like all of the details of what happened in this story, and I love the way that the author kind of sets up the secrets and the mysteries. Like, you know, everyone has secrets, but like which ones actually matter, and not which ones matter, but like which ones hold the most weight and which ones have the worst consequences, right? Like, there are a couple of secrets. Everyone wants to know what happened to Lily, their best friend, back 14 years ago. No one has a clear answer, at least we don't think anyone has a clear answer, but there's obviously things that people are not saying that are going to make a difference in figuring out what happened to Lily. Everyone's holding these secrets, and I think it's kind of causing this darkness across the island, which is really interesting. So I love that the island itself is a character. Like, it plays a little bit of a role in getting people to do its bidding, if you will. It's kind of acting as this character that's pushing forward the plot, that's pushing forward some of these secrets being revealed, and kind of creating some tension to allow some conflict to kind of arise and be dealt with. And I love the idea of the island being a character in this book. So I'm loving the writing. I'm loving the imagery. Like, it's so beautiful. Let me see if I can find a quote that like really said it for me. At some point it says that October had been one of whispers. Like, that's just so like kind of ominous. I love that. It says, a circle of sunlight pooled on my shoulder as the sun rose behind the trees. Through the thin linen curtain, I could see the pale mist that covered the island in a heavy autumn silence. Like, I can just like feel the imagery, if that makes sense. Like, I really can picture everything that's happening in this book like it's a movie in my head, and I honestly think this book would be a fantastic movie. So I'm loving it. I only have like 125 pages or so left, like not very much at all. I'm gonna breeze through this. I'm excited for my book club discussion because I think there's a lot of interesting things that are happening in this book that could be a great discussion. So that's my number one fall recommendation, to be honest, is Spells for Forgetting. Right now I'm gonna get back to reading this, and I'm just having the best time. I'll let you know when I finish if my first review of this book matches up with my reread. We've got The Vampire Diaries queued up and ready to go. I've got my book, Spells for Forgetting. I feel like I'm gonna finish this tonight. We'll see. I also got this really nice treat from Trader Joe's, pumpkin blondie brownies. I've had one and they are delicious. So I'm going to snack on one of these, read my book, have Vampire Diaries on the background, and it's going to be a great, perfect fall night. I just finished my reread of Spells for Forgetting, and wow, I love this book so much. I initially read this book in 2022 when it first came out, and I think it was in my best books of the year. And I have to say, I think it holds up for me. This book is so atmospheric. It's not like spooky, but it's a little bit moody and like sinister, but not in like a heavy-handed way. It's just like a little, I don't know, it's just atmospheric. Like the dark fall moody vibes like live in this book, and I think that's perfect for fall. It's also like a little gloomy outside. The sun hasn't come out in a few days, and it's just like a perfect reread for me. I'm so happy I was able to reread it. My book club picked it for the month, and I was really happy because I've been wanting to reread this book, but just haven't like found an opportunity or like a reason to reread it, because sometimes I feel like rereads like hold me back on reading my TBR, if that makes sense. And I've been wanting to, but just haven't found the right moment. So I'm so happy that I had to pick this up because it gave me the push I needed to reread this. I did annotate it. You can see some of my notes here. There are so many like good quotes in this book and moments that like, I don't know, I think Evermore by Taylor Swift is the perfect album for this book, but one of my songs that I go to when I think of this book is Invisible String, because there are times where Emery and August are made for each other. And there's one line he says, he's talking about like why he never was in like a serious relationship or settled down with anyone, and he says, because I'm somehow still connected to you, like a part of me isn't there if you're not there. For years I thought that would go away. It didn't. And for me, that's invisible string. Like they're tied to each other, and not only are they tied to each other, but like a little bit tied to the island. And I know I said this in my previous update, but like the island is a character in this book, and I just love how the author writes that and writes the island as though it were a character and has its own agenda, essentially. Like there are things that happen on the island that only happen because the island wants them to, and has like a bigger vision, or the island has its own purpose for wanting things to happen a certain way, and those things are acted out. And I think that's really interesting and unique. And yeah, I just really love this book. I think if you're looking for a fall atmospheric read but don't like super spooky, pick this up, because this one is a 5-star for me. So for me, fall is very nostalgic. Like it makes me think of my mom, and I always used to bake with her growing up, so I feel like baking in the fall feels like cozy and like a little sad but nostalgic, and I think it just like makes me think of her and helps me be close to her. So every year I like to do a lot of fall baking and a lot of Christmas baking, of course, but I think for the sake of this video, we're gonna be doing some fall baking. And I found a pumpkin snickerdoodle cookie recipe that I wanna try. So far this year, I've only made like the Trader Joe's pumpkin bread, which is fine, but it's not really baking to me. Like you just mix and pour it in a pan and that's it. So I wanna do some actual baking. So I got out my mixer, which is actually my mom's, and we're gonna make some snickerdoodle cookies. I have the Vampire Diaries on in the back, and I just want like a little cozy day. The sun is peeking out a little bit, which makes me sad, but it's okay. We can have a sunny fall day too. And I hope they taste good. I don't know, I need to read the recipe because I have no idea what it says, and I'm hoping I have all the ingredients, so we'll see. And I hope they taste good. I'm sure they will. It's sugar and pumpkin and butter, and that sounds great to me. So let's get baking. Here's a little sneak peek before baking. These look so good. They smell delicious. I made the dough and then we rolled it in this cinnamon sugar mixture, and I can't wait to try one. I'm gonna put them in the oven and then they will bake, and I can't wait for this house to just smell like fall. These look so good. They smell so good. Oh, perfect. I can't wait to taste them. All right, time to try one of these cookies. They smell so good. Let me see. I think they're gonna be really soft because I literally just pulled them out of the oven. Oh my gosh, they're so soft. Look, they're just like falling apart. Look at that. Wow, that is delicious. That's so good. It tastes like pumpkin pie, like the flavoring of pumpkin pie, but in a cookie. I actually don't really like pumpkin pie because I don't like the consistency of the pie mixture part, but this hits the spot, you know? Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is dangerous. I'm gonna eat all of these cookies. Well, this was a perfect way to kick off fall with this cookie recipe. I know I'm gonna have to make more sometime in the next month. I hope this got you in the fall mood. It certainly got me in the fall mood. Now I've got my playlist, I've got a new go-to recipe, I've read a fall book to put me in the mood. I'm feeling great. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope I will catch you in the next one. Bye!